Oh boy, this is one exciting week when it comes to high school football, and we have just the guys that need to talk about that. We do have Tony Anzetti joining us in the studio, as well as the Cop Man, Larry Kotler here. And before we go any further, Cop Man, tonight, your show, your radio show,
Yes.
big time guests. Check this out.
Yes. In fact, you can see it right there, 6 to 7 tonight on 1350 ESPN. Lee Corso, we've been talking back and forth week after week, but see, college football guys, they travel on Thursday. So it's difficult sometimes to hook up with them, but Lee Corso's expected to be on the show today. Also, Andre Tippett. You remember Andre Tippett played at the University of Iowa?
Yeah.
Defensive end. He's going to be on. He works in the front office of the Patriots. He has for a long time.
Awesome.
Like in community relations. So we're going to talk with him tonight. We're going to talk with Bob Donewall, the head coach of the Iowa Energy. Nice shirt there, bud.
Yes. 2-0.
Yep. There you go. Andrew Harrison as well. And also a mutual friend, Michael Hope, in our entertainment segment.
Yep.
Oh, love that guy.
Yeah,
Michael,
cool. I've worked with Michael since the 1980s, and he's a guitarist and singer, and we're going to have him on the program.
And just an all-around nice guy. Now, is that going to interfere with some football that we have going on here locally?
No, because what time do the games start? Well, games are
This
going
morning,
on
this afternoon, and this evening.
Okay, so
for the
watch
pep
the
rally.
TV, listen to the radio, get it all
There you go.
in.
Do it all.
Brought to you by BMW of Des Moines. So, Mr. Anzetti, lots of action. Where are we starting?
We're starting this morning with an 8-player game where Don Bosco, who's won a title and been at the Dome quite frequently over the last 5 or 6 years, taking on Marcus Meriden Cleghorn.
MMC.
And they won a championship just a few years removed. So two teams that are used to getting up to the Dome. And this will be the last 8-player game for Marcus Meriden Cleghorn because they are going to consolidate with Remsen Union next year. So they'll be MMCRU. So another alphabet soup going into the school districts
Seriously,
next year.
you know what that's about, Jason.
But Don Bosco has been really dynamite all year. They have played a couple less games because of the weather and a team that couldn't play, so then dropped football this year in the middle of their schedule. So they have 2 less wins than everybody else. But boy, when they started playing the best of the competitions during the regular season, they woke a lot of people up, and they are the team to beat. And this 8-player field, Don Bosco won 30-7 over a very good Newell Fonda team in the semifinals, and Marcus Meriden Cleghorn outlasted their game, and I think it's going to be somewhere in the same vicinity, somewhere between. I don't think 30 is probably the reachable number, but defense has played a lot better in the 8-player game, as we've talked about over the last few weeks, has evolved quite a bit. So I see some likable scores to the 11-player game. And
these two teams met what, 2012?
Yeah,
2012 title game. And one thing, one quote I noticed from the coach at Don Bosco when I was reading some information is that he said, "We did so well in our one true test." I mean, that's because apparently they just rolled over everybody up until the game against Newell Fonda, and like you said, 30-7 I think was the final. But I think they were down 7-6 and scored 24 unanswered points. But he said, "We passed our first true test." So that to me said something.
Yeah.
All right.
In Class A game.
And that's just right after 10 o'clock. You can see right here in KCWI. So make sure you keep the channel just right here.
Tomorrow KCWI probably busy, especially for the Dowling Catholic fans, because that Highway 20 corridor all the way to Cedar Falls, iffy roads. People take, do I go all the way to the Dome or do I just stay home? KCWI
Turn it on
will
right
have
here.
that opportunity for them.
All right, so today at 1:30, who do we have?
Gladbrook Rhinebeck takes on Akron Westfield, 2 teams that have a couple losses. And this is the most wide open field. I've said, when you asked who do you like, and I can make a pick on most everything.
Right.
This class, it proves. Gladbrook Rhinebeck, in my final rankings, is number 6. Akron Westfield was on the list but didn't make it. So they are unranked, and some people may have them down at the bottom half of their top 10 at best. So this Class A field proved out. And last week we had an overtime game and a 2-point conversion instead of going into overtime for both of these teams to advance. So that's how wide open this class was, and I think this game again, flip a coin, 2 completely different styles of football. Akron Westfield, those defensive backs are going to have their work cut out for them, because Akron Westfield, the Westerns are going to throw, and when they get tired of throwing, they're still going to throw. And then Gladbrook Rhinebeck will try to grind it out, and that's the key to the game. Can Akron Westfield keep the ground game of Gladbrook Rhinebeck and force them to pass, because they want to get first downs and use that clock and make it less possessions for Akron Westfield. If they don't, if they have to fall behind and chase Akron Westfield because of that passing game, could be the way they're playing, that could be tough to do. But it's going to be 2 different styles of offenses going at each other. So we'll see. The defenses are going to really have to step up in this football game.
Akron Westfield have a quarterback by the name of Cal Eskra, who's thrown for 3,700 yards, 41 touchdowns, run for 1,418. 18 touchdowns.
Wow.
That is. So, I mean, they've got, like Tony said, I mean, they will throw the ball. But again, ball control. How many times have we talked about that, whether it be high school or college? You know, if you keep the ball away from the other team, that's the best defense you can play.
Right, that's true.
Fewer possessions, fewer chances.
All right, remember, all these games are going to be on the station you're watching right now. Yeah, they're all going to be on KCWI 23 HD. So
now, big one locally is going to be this next one.
A lot of people are watching around here.
Yeah, this is the big one. Of course, it's the only game where these teams have met during the regular season in the title game. Pella won the regular season meeting 21-0, and they it was one of those games in the second half they took control. It was just a bloodbath early, and then Pella added a couple touchdowns. So
were there some turnovers involved here?
Yes,
I think Norwalk had a couple turnovers, which turned the momentum around.
So the question is, can Norwalk generate any type of offense against Pella in this meeting here? Pella, they were the pick before the season. They're the defending state champs. The target's on their back. So Norwalk's going to throw some kitchen sink stuff at them in this game. This is the end of the season. It's the last game. So you're going to see some different looks than you probably saw in the first game. So who adjusts to all that? Norwalk's gotten better. Their only loss is to Pella, but Pella has been just as good as advertised all year. So Pella's going to be favored, but it'll be interesting to see, and it'll be a defensive battle for most part of this game because they're so familiar with each other.
And this is all about Norwalk's defense. Can they slow down Noah Clayburgh?
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be one thing, and we know the numbers he puts up, but can they find a way? And I notice in the playoffs, when you talk about what Norwalk has done, I mean, they've been holding teams down. And that's what they've got to be able to do. They got to find a way to at least limit him. I don't know if you stop Noah Clayburgh or not, but that's okay. You don't have to stop him. But
you got to make him one-dimensional.
Yep. And the same thing like the other games you talk about. If you keep the ball away from him, that's your best defense.
That's the best way to avoid it.
The key point too, Norwalk may have lost a running back, not sure, injured in that last in the semifinal game. Brady Bransfield's an outstanding quarterback, but Norwalk has to be balanced. They have, because if you give a defense like Pella one way, if you know they're going to pass only because you can't run, that'll really hurt Norwalk tonight in that football game. So Norwalk needs to be balanced to be able to beat this Pella team. And again, Norwalk's defense is going to have to decide, what do we want to do with Clayburgh? And the best thing is probably to try to keep him between the tackles and in the pocket, and either force him to go up the middle where it's tougher yards or throw the football. Because if he gets outside on you, you're going to be looking at his number from behind. He can extend
blow right by him.
Yeah, he's a very good
7 o'clock
athlete.
is game time right here on KCWI 23 HD. Now tomorrow, game start bright and early, 7 or 11, I should say, 11 o'clock in the morning. There's just a recap of what is going on today on KCWI 23 HD. So keep that in mind. So lots of stuff going on football-wise. Now tomorrow, here are the games coming up tomorrow. Same deal. We have the games right here on KCWI, you guys.
And we'll talk more about those, I'm assuming, tomorrow.
Yes. I'd like to throw a shout out, if I got a second, to Jeff Blankman. He was an old kid that started out as a kid back in the old days in radio with me here in Des Moines on the Jock, and he's going to be inducted in the Iowa High School Media Hall of Fame tonight before that 3A game. Just a guy who's done such a great job in the Carroll area out there for the kids, and well deserved. There's a lot of people getting inducted in the Hall of Fame, but particularly to Jeff Blankman, want to congratulate him on that.
There you go. Awesome. There's your summary of what's going to be going on in the championship games today, brought to you by BMW of Des Moines. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll see you guys back here bright and early tomorrow morning. This is a great day.